A group of 49 Afrikaners, including families with young children, arrived in the United States this week after being granted asylum, citing safety fears and discrimination in South Africa. The group was welcomed at Dallas International Airport outside Washington by senior U.S. officials, including Deputy Secretary of State Christopher and Homeland Security Deputy Secretary Troy. Asylum seekers, many of whom waved small American flags as they disembarked, claimed they faced targeted violence and institutional neglect in South Africa. Concerns have been shared by some civil society groups, though dismissed by the South African government. Speaking to News Africa, Kali Kriel, chief executive of AfriForum, a prominent civil rights lobby group, acknowledged the legitimacy of the fears held by those who have immigrated. However, he distanced his organization from inflammatory rhetoric often used by the U.S. commentators, including the term white genocide. He said, "The fact is, we don't use those terms, but there is a real problem. In South Africa, we see farm attacks where victims are not just killed, but tortured, drill holes in feet, blow tortures, irons, hot water. That's not just crime, that's cruelty." Krill criticized the perceived lack of government action, citing chants such as "kill the Boer, kill the farmer," which he says contribute to a climate of hostility. He also accused the Constitutional Court and President Cyril Ramaphosa of failing to adequately address the concerns of Afrikaner communities. Still, Krill emphasized that leaving South Africa is not a long-term solution for preserving Afrikaner culture and said, "Afrikaners cannot survive as a cultural community in the US or anywhere else. We respect those who choose to leave, but I'm staying. We have to find a future here for our children." Krill called on all South Africans to unite in confronting the country's high levels of violent crime, advocating for partnerships that transcend racial and cultural lines. He said AfriForum has initiated collaborative safety programs with traditional leaders and rural communities, and that what makes the violence against Afrikaners different is that it is often preceded by public incitement. But it's time we stop the divisions and work together to create safer communities. Meanwhile, the South African Department of International Relations and Cooperation rejected the notion that the immigrants qualify as refugees. In a brief statement, DICO stated that the individual left the country voluntarily and that the narrative of systematic persecution is not supported by factual evidence. Development has sparked debate both domestically and internationally, highlighting the complex interactions of crime, race, and identity in South Africa's post-apartheid landscape. As the dust settles, questions remain about how the international community interprets asylum claims from the countries like South Africa, where violence affects many, but narratives of targeted persecution are increasingly politicized. Meanwhile, President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to visit the U.S. next week to meet President Donald Trump at the White House. The meeting comes after unsubstantiated claims surfaced that Afrikaner farmers in South Africa are facing genocide, and the government was creating new policies aimed at confiscating land. These claims caused an uproar from the US and Trump, who claimed that bad things are happening in South Africa. During a media briefing on Tuesday, Minister in the presidency Khumbudzo Ntshavheni rejected the genocide claims, questioning the legitimacy of the refugee status that is being claimed. She said, "We express the view that there is no refugee. They do not meet the criteria of refugee status. There is no violence against farmers. You must go to that list and check how many of those people who are actually farmers, because the argument is that there is genocide against white farmers in South Africa." Ntshavheni said Kali Kriel, the AfriForum CEO, needs to take responsibility and explain the genocide claim, especially when the American government says that thousands of Afrikaner farmers are not leaving South Africa. She said it will be hard to even convince white South Africans that there is genocide happening in the country. Ntshavheni also emphasized that Ramaphosa was attending the meeting at the White House after a formal invitation. She said, "In terms of our expectation, we are not going to the US on our own. We have been invited by President Trump. He is the one that made a public announcement that he's going to meet with us next week." So there is no one who invites a guest to mistreat them. We are expecting the highest level of decorum and necessary protocols to be accorded. She said differences between the two countries may arise, but emphasized the importance of maintaining strong bilateral ties. And said that there are more than 600 US companies in the country. Part of their largest automakers are in the country, and part of their biggest electronics and telecoms companies are also big investors in this country. Whether it is Google, Amazon, or Microsoft, South African companies are also invested in the US. The US will also require the critical minerals, and we have approved the strategy. Our relationship is very mutually beneficial, and that is the focus of our emphasis. Jabeni further stated that we are not worried, we are confident that the invitation comes from a good place of intending an engagement, clarification, and the indication comes because South Africa is an important player in the global forum. She said Ramaphosa expected a cordial discussion and said the president is committed that we will not be bullied, we will remain in that mode. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.